20 minutes to 7 for the All-Star Mile. This is Triple M's Hot Breakfast, Ed, in our LA studio this morning.
Yeah, Darcy, it's quite amazing over here at the moment. I ran into and caught up with the guy who's the mayor of Beverly Hills at the Say Good Day Australia function the other night, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. And he's contacted me this morning to say all the municipal town halls, including the Beverly Hills, lighting up the whole area tonight in purple and yellow, building up to tomorrow's game for the Clippers and the Lakers. And interesting, Darcy, yesterday some friends went in to buy some flowers, and the florist in LA said, "Are these for Kobe?" And I said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, they are." I said, "All flowers for Kobe are free." And that's how everyone around here in Los Angeles has reacted to this amazing story. So, yeah, it's really gripped everybody, and I think it's going right around the world now. And you see, the shots of Kobe playing for Team USA, 2 gold medals, 5 championships with the LA Lakers, 20 years service, started there as a 17-year-old. Shaquille O'Neal, his great teammate in a lot of those championship wins, has just been heartbroken. And, of course, LeBron James, the superstar of today, he has just been just a mess with tears running down his face. And it's going to be interesting to see how everyone responds tomorrow night at the Staples Center.
Yeah. Back on the home front, Andrew Gay is a 5-time Olympian. He's a 7-time NBL MVP, a 2-time NBL champion, played in the NBA, our greatest ever Australian basketballer, and Gazy's been good enough to join us this morning. Gazy, thanks for your time. Where were you yesterday when you heard the news?
Yeah, g'day, Darcy, and good morning, Eddie. It was just devastating. I was at home, and the phone starts buzzing, and so you wake up really early and scroll on, you see some notifications on social media, and then I thought, oh, look at this, some nut jobs out there done this fake news story, and didn't think too much about it. And then the phone kept ringing, and then the reality kicks in that we've lost a man that has just had such an impact on our game and on many people's lives throughout the world. So it's an absolute tragedy, and and even now, 24 hours later, you're still mourning and just feel so sad for the loss.
And Gazy, you spent some time with Kobe in his early days in 1998 on an Adidas tour out in Australia. What was your insight into spending a bit of time with him?
Yeah, incredible. And it was at the start of his career, but still establishing himself. And let's not forget, he was one of those ones that went straight from high school to the NBA. So he's still very young when he came out here. But just the thing that stuck out the most was his competitiveness and his drive for success. We'd be there playing against these kids who won a comp. They might be 14, 15 years of age, and he'd be crossing them over and going in and two-hand dunking on them. And I'd be sort of thinking, geez, back it up, big fella. This is just... But he was just that competitive, and he did it in a graceful way, in a respectful way, but you could tell that every time he was on the floor, he just had this desire to compete, and his eyes would light up, and he'd be having so much fun. And I think that's the reason why he was so successful in the NBA arenas.
And Gazy, that's what the Mamba is all about, isn't it? It was a nickname he took on about halfway through his career, as you mentioned, because he came in as a 17-year-old, barracked for the LA Lakers, got to the Lakers, and then became such an icon. But give us a little insight into Mamba.
Yeah, well, they call it Mamba mentality, and that's just that mentality about the playing the game. And I think most importantly encompasses all those things. Yes, it's that really ruthless, hardcore, competitive edge. And you read all the stories and you watch all the documentaries on him, and you would not find a harder worker, despite these incredible skills, just one of the hardest working guys out there, and this competitive instinct. But through all that, there was a smile on the face, and he just absolutely loved and had so much fun with competition. And there was no sense of privilege or entitlement. It was all about, well, I need to work as hard as I possibly can and have that Mamba mentality in order to have success. And no matter how great he was always trying to get greater. And I think that's reflected in that Mamba mentality that he had.
And Gazy, even in his last game, I was watching some of the highlights on ESPN last night. He scored 60 points and took the Lakers to victory in his last game in a 20-year career. So he didn't train off at the end.
No, outrageous. And that was against our very own Joe Ingles of the Utah Jazz. Yeah. And I watched that game, and it was extraordinary because he's a guy that just is coming off a snapped Achilles. He made more money than we could ever print. He'd had 5 NBA titles and won a couple of gold medals. Snaps his Achilles later in his career, but such is his desire to compete and stay great that he was able to have 60 in his last game. And I can remember watching that game, sitting there and just in awe, and in all honesty, shedding a tear at the great man being his last game and the way he was going about it, the emotion surrounding of it. It was just another extraordinary chapter in a remarkable career. But 81 points in a game as well, fellas. I can't comprehend someone in an NBA game scoring 81 points.
Yeah, remarkable. Gazy, thanks so much for jumping on the line. An emotional time for people who obviously as close to the sport as you are, and everyone on the outside who just admired Kobe Bryant from afar. Andrew Gaze, superstar of Australian basketball, giving us a great insight into one of the best athletes we've ever seen, Ed.
Yeah, Das will give you all the news from Say G'day USA as well. That was a moving night for Australians, with the big push there being to tell Americans that Australia is open for business. I'll bring you all the news, plus everything that's happening in Melbourne this morning at 6:45. 13.8 degrees, top of 23 in Melbourne town today.